for joining us on this 21st day of August 2019. My name is Caroline Jenge, and this is Inside Business, and we have lined up a comprehensive bulletin for you. And also later on, we'll be speaking to Peter Kariuki, who is the chairman of the Institute Quality Surveyors, and we'll be talking about their role in the affordable housing agenda. But that will be later on this broadcast. But first, we take a look at the stories that are making headlines in the world of business here in the country and also globally. And we touch on KEPSA, where private sector players, including, have signed 154.4 million shillings financing agreement with Trademark East Africa to support trade and investment for businesses and create jobs. Under the agreement, Trademark East Africa will be supporting Kenya Private Sector Alliance. Public-private sector dialogue program will focus on 6 areas. Now, these include transport and logistics, customs and tax, and technical support for efficient public-private sector dialogue frameworks, among others. Chair of the Public-Private Dialogue Board Committee, Brenda Mbathi, says the sector will yield a 2-year-fold benefit for the grant, which is to foster other policy interventions geared towards catalyzing growth of trade and investment for Kenyan businesses. Further, KEPSA says that the program aims to contribute achieving 10% reduction in transport costs at a time, as well as to lobby for enhanced customs, port and other trade-related agencies. Now, a section of Coast members of Parliament and transport stakeholders say despite the suspension of the directive that all cargo must be transported via SGR, cargo is still being forced onto the SGR to Nairobi. Vita MP Abdul Swamad Nasir and his also counterpart Changamwe Omar Mwinyi says the move is hurting the transport business in Mombasa, and they will soon move to court to stop the compulsory haulage of cargo via SGR. Sarah Adam with that report.
Changamwe Member of Parliament Omar Mwinyi said the suspended directive by government to transport cargo via the standard gauge railway is still on course, hence crippling the transport sector at the cost.
Na inaonekana hata hii serikali pia ni kama imeamua pia haitaheshimu uamuzi wa koti, lakini sisi tutafanya hivyo. Kuna uamuzi pia vile vile wa kuweza kufanya maandamano.
About 3 weeks ago, Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia issued a directive that stipulated that all cargo from the port of Mombasa shall be hauled to the inland container depot in Nairobi for clearance. Macharia was forced to beat a hasty retreat and suspended the directive after the National Assembly summoned him to appear before the floor of the House to discuss the directive. However, Mwinyi and Nasir said it's unfortunate that cargo is still being forced onto the SGR to Nairobi even after the suspension of the directive.
Kitu tunachoomba wananchi sasa wa Mombasa, wa Pwani pamoja na zile sehemu ambazo hii reli inapita, ni lazima sasa waamke, wasimame, watoe sauti zao zihesabike, kwa sababu hichi kifo ni kifo cha watu wote, si cha wanasiasa, si cha hawa wenye makampuni, ni kila mmoja atapata adhabu ya hino, manake jambo ambalo serikali atakufanya.
Nasir, who has been on the forefront opposing the privatization of the port of Mombasa and the compulsory transportation of cargo via SGR, said government has now withdrawn Kenya Revenue Authority officials from the container freight stations.
Ya kukubaliana vile yale ambayo kwamba yamedhihiri ni kwa bado makasha yanalazimishwa kupanda SGR, matransporta wanakosa biashara. Ile nyingine limedhihirika ni kwa sasa hivi CFS zote zimelazimishwa ya kwa hakuna tena ile system ya KRA pale ndani. Kwa hivyo sasa hivi yatabaki kuwa ni magofu, jambo ambalo kwamba litaleta athari kubwa sana katika hali za maisha ya watu katika maeneo ya Mombasa, Pwani na ukiendeleza katika Kenya nzima.
He called on the Office of the Auditor General to carry out a socio-economic impact audit of the SGR on the local communities.
Demanding the government to come down and consult us, because the way things go, Mombasa is going to be a dead town. But what we are saying today is that we need the government to allow freedom of choice. This is what I've been saying each and every day, that we need freedom of choice on the mode of transport to be used.
Kenya Transporters Association Chief Executive Officer Dennis Ombok said they have prepared a memorandum signed by different stakeholders to be taken to the President. The 5-page memorandum has been signed by Kenya Transporters Association, Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Container Freight Station, and Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Others are long-distance drivers, union, senators, and MPs from Coast, Council of Imams, Transport Workers Union, and Kenya Association of Tours Operators. Sarah Adam, K24 for Inside Business.
Now we head straight to Parliament, where the push to have the interest rate cap repealed is set for deliberations before the Parliamentary Committee of Finance and National Planning, with Kenya Bankers Association expected to present their memorandum. Now let us join Jimmy Mbogo, who is at Parliament Building, to give us an update on where that memorandum, presentation of that memorandum is. Jimmy Mbogo, over to you.
They're trying to do away with that is the interest rate capping law that came into effect in September 2016. That's about a few months to 3 years. Now, it has been ongoing. This is an issue that banks have been complaining about for a very long time since its introduction, and just saying that it has limited in terms of the credit that they can be able to give to customers, that they can be able to give to common wananchi. They're saying this has limited them because then you cannot be able to price in terms of the rates that you are charging, and saying that given the fact that a lot of Kenyans are considered high risk, this is also an issue that they have to factor in. Now, one of their prayers has always been to do away with the interest rate capping law, to be able for them to price credit depending on the risk of whoever is being given this credit. Now, as it currently has been the case, the member of parliament that is for Kiambu Central, Jude Njomo, who actually introduced this bill, one of the things that he says is not yet time. We've also spoken to analysts about this issue, and they also maintain the same sentiments, that it's not yet time to do away with this law, because they're saying it will be exposing Kenyans back to high interest rates being charged by the banks, saying that the banks had an opportunity to do this before, but they ended up charging absolutely high interest rates, going as high as 28%, with others being said to have gone as high as 33%, which is actually unsustainable. But now the complaint that is coming from KBA, from their side, they're saying we have actually seen the negative impact of this is the fact that Kenyans cannot be able to access credit. Kenyans banks are shying away from issuing credit to a lot of Kenyans, and as well as SMEs. Now this has and remember that SMEs are also a big growth aspect for the economy. So the fact that they cannot be able to access credit, that limits their contribution to the country's growth. Now, from KBA's perspective, they're saying currently, as the matter is, the government is still borrowing heavily from local banks, which has become an avenue for banks to be able to ease out, to be able to issue credit, to be able to make their profit. But their concern is that in the next few years, the government will be able to get its act together and stop lending, but actually prudently manage the finances that it has, and this could actually dry up this opportunity, this avenue that banks have been taking, because remember, most banks are in the business of lending and taking credit from basically taking money from depositors, as well as being able to lend to other Kenyans. Indeed, it's a conversation that we'll be following through. We'll be telling you in our subsequent bulletins what has transpired, what are some of the comments from the members of parliament. Are they going to consider this, or are they going even to consider, let's say, increasing this amount from 4% to anything, either 8%, 10%, or what will be the outcome of these proceedings? But for now, back to you, Carol.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. And as you have indicated, you'll be filing a comprehensive story on some of the areas that will be touched on once the members of parliament have that cross-section talk with the KBA stakeholders. Now, moving on to other stories, the government has gazetted the land where the multi-billion industrial park and dry port will be located in Naivasha. Over 1,000 acres of land has been set aside in Mai Mahiu Narok Road with fencing of the vast land already on on course. The development in the industrial park has been fast-tracked based on information that the SGR, which cuts across the park, and the port will start its operations by December. Linda Koskei with the details of that story.
The recent move to fast-track the development of the Naivasha Industrial Park is to pave way for the crossing of the standard gauge railway, which is expected to traverse through the park, as well as to offload commodities, as it will also host a dry port. According to Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui, neighboring countries Uganda and Southern Sudan have already been allocated land by the government to set their loading zones and offices. Kinyanjui termed the project as a face changer for the county, with thousands expected to benefit from job opportunities.
The containers that will be coming from Mombasa will come directly here for clearing, so that people who are taking them to other countries can come and clear them from here. And largely for us, mainly, is we do not want that this railway is just for imports, that we just use this railway to bring imports from other countries. I think as a nation we would also want to use it to export part of our produce, and the only way we can do that is also to encourage industries.
Residents who are eager to take advantage of the government's venture needed assurance that locals should be given the first priority in job allocation.
Iwe ni watu ya county yetu kutoka Nakuru, kutoka Naivasha, kutoka division Maimayo, hiyo watu wote wafaidike. Sio Maasai peke yake na sio Kikuyu peke yake, wale watu settle ya hapa. Iwe ndio wanahusika kufaidika na hii mradi. Hiyo mpango tunakuomba uende usukume pale juu, ama utusaidie hiyo maneno. Hawa familia wanaishi hapa wapate kulipwa vizuri, wafanyiwe fidia vizuri na wahamishwe kwa njia ya heshima, waende mahali wamepewa.
They have made their issues known to me, and what is remaining will also raise it with the national government, and I'm sure we'll be able to solve those issues that they have raised. But they are not issues that impact on the progress of the project. They are issues that are within our scope in terms of solving.
Upon completion, the port will act as a base for its cargo that lands at the Kenya's port of Mombasa. Further, it will also see Uganda play a more crucial role for the hinterland countries, including Rwanda and DRC, and also hints at the Kenya's commitment to come through with the last mile of the SGR railway line between Kisumu and Malaba, which will see Uganda secure funding for its Kampala-Malaba line. Linda Koskei, K24, Inside Business.
Well, the East African Cables has restructured its short-term loans into a 10-year term loan and also secured a 2-year moratorium on the principal debt to enable the company to operate effectively. The debt deal has reduced the group's debt by 1.65 billion shillings, or 44% of the group's total, and offered a 10-year extension to the tenor of the remaining debts. Let's listen.
Authenticate the product that we have. We have recently introduced the Ziduka label some years back, and on the top right corner of the label, if you scratch, you'll find a 12-digit code. It's similar to the technology that is used for airtime cards. You send that to the code below, and the system will come back to you and either confirm to you that you have a genuine cable or you have not bought a genuine.
Now, Kenya's tire maker Kingsway Limited has been awarded Super Brand East Africa 2019-2020 status, joining the list of Kenya's giant entities with a Super Brand seal. According to the Kingsway CEO, that is Ashit Shah, this signifies a brand's capability to command respect from its customers, as well as capacity to get premiums, which are awarded by independent and voluntary panels to experts from a range of backgrounds. Let's listen in also.
Capacity. So, congratulations to you. Firstly, individually, I think the level of scrutiny that has gone in, especially this year, having been a part of it, I can tell you, for example, that the level of scrutiny was very, very high. We really looked for brands that outperformed their peers, in their categories. We looked for brands that were top of mind in the minds and recall value of the consumers. So I think you've done a fantastic job through the survey. Throughout East Africa, to come out top of mind.
When you are recognized as a super brand status, what it really tells you is we have a responsibility to the market. a responsibility to our teams, to our customers, to our group, about truly being the best. So what drives us forward every single day is that specific challenge of giving excellence into the market.
There's an expectation in the marketplace that you will continue to offer quality, you'll continue to offer a good brand. And that is what a super brand is about. It's about being able to recognize and being able to give the next level of service to the people.
Well, the government has assured Ukambani residents that the heavily polluted Athi River will be cleaned up within the next 4 years before the completion of the multi-billion shillings Thwake Dam. Water Principal Secretary Joseph Irungu said efforts are underway to ensure that the 64 billion shillings dam, which is being constructed at the boundary of Kitui and Makueni counties, will not be a reservoir of sewage. He said the project was slightly behind schedule and urged the contractor to speed up the works. The project is supposed to be 28% completed as per the government's timelines, but it is at 25%.
Hatuwezi jenga damu ya kima cha shilingi bilioni 42 tushikilie maji ya uchafu. Tuna mikakati ambayo tuko nayo, na kitambo hii damu iishe, bila shaka tutakuwa huu mto tumeusafisha. Tumeanza, na hata hatukuanza wakati magazeti yalipoandika, tulikuwa tumeanza tayari. Na jambo la kwanza ambalo tumefanya kama wizara, tumefanya mapping ya huu mto. Huu mto unaanzia mahali panaitwa Ngong. Hapo ndio huu mto unaanzia, na halafu unateremka mpaka hapa. Bila shaka tumekuwa na watu wachache ambao wamekuwa wanachafua huu mto. Kuna viwanda ambavyo vimekuwa vinaweka uchafu wao katika mto. Kuna wakazi wengine, kuna mitaa ambayo imekuwa inaweka uchafu katika mto.
Just 3 years ago we finished the trunk sewers along Madare River, along Kiu River, but the laterals were not done. Currently the sewerage coverage in Nairobi is 50%, but we are starting another program with Africa Development Bank that will improve this to 80% and is commencing this financial year. Even today, it is in the papers for consultancy services, for design services to commence it. Once this is done, it will...
Now we cross over now to our reporter Baraka Karama, who is going to give us an update on the relocation of fish traders in the area to pave way for road expansion, and they have been relocated to Dunga Beach. What's the status at the moment, Baraka Karama?
Carol, remember the fish traders from the famous Luangni Beach were demolished to pave way for the expansion of the road leading to the main Kisumu inland port. That, of course, took place a month ago, and it's kind of good news to a cross-section of traders who have been relocated to this particular beach, Dunga Beach to be precise. And as you can see from those pieces, that some of them are currently rebuilding their kiosks, and this will once again be one of the fish eateries here, fish eateries joint at the Dunga Beach. Just allow me to get reactions and comments from one of the leaders here, the beach management unit manager. Welcome to the SESA.
Yes.
Okay, kindly tell us your name, and of course you're seeing the traders from Luangni Beach are currently rebuilding here at Dunga Beach.
Yeah, my name is Tobias Otieno, Didi from Dunga Beach, one of the beach management.
Yes.
And we've actually liked the improvement since the Luangni,
yes,
where I used to have many hotels,
yes,
where the port now is coming in.
Yes.
There's a big improvement here because now most of the tourists that are coming in, yes, because this is the only tourist, this is the only community, yes, public beach, yes, around, yes, apart from Hippo Point. Yes. So we have accommodated some, and most of the challenge now, the space is small, yes, to accommodate them. Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And maybe the county government has promised to give more space to the traders. What do you think about that?
Yeah, at least we need more space, yes, because there are many people who lost their properties, yes, and this is the only place there where they can be, do their business for hotels. Okay. Yes.
So by them relocating to this particular place, have you seen any improvement in terms of the guests who come here on a daily basis?
Yeah, there's a big improvement. Most of the guests now coming to this place.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Just sentiments from the beach management unit manager here at the Dunga Beach. Of course, like I mentioned, the traders from the Luangni Beach have been relocated to this particular place, the Dunga Beach. Remember, they were demolished a month ago to pave way for the expansion of the road leading to the main Kisumu inland port that, of course, has been undergoing a major rehabilitation. Already the government has pumped in 3 billion shillings towards the improvement of that particular facility that is expected to open up Kisumu as the main regional hub for the larger East African region. Remember, it was supposed to be commissioned 2 weeks ago, and of course we saw a cancellation of that particular ceremony from the State House, and of course we are waiting to get another date for the official commissioning of this particular port. Of course, that has also come with lots of pain for a cross-section of traders within the central business district, where we've seen quite a number of demolition taking place. The ones are located near the Cumberland, and others within the Windman Market, of course, have also been demolished. So, Carol will be getting more details and reactions as far as the relocation of the traders here in Kisumu is concerned. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Baraka Karama, for that update. Now, it's the time, as I had earlier on indicated, and in studio with me is Peter Kariuki, who is the chairman of the Institute of Quantity Surveyors. Welcome to our studios. And the topic of discussion today is on your role in the affordable housing agenda. And I'd like us to explain to us, before we even go there, who is a quantity surveyor, and also what's the role in building and construction industry?
Thank you very much for that question. First and foremost, I want to clarify the quantity surveyors are the construction cost experts. So they are the advisors in the construction industry regarding construction costs. And they have several roles that we play, is that we determine cost before commencement of construction. So that enables you to make a budget that you will be able to complete a project once commenced. And by doing that, we then proceed to prepare tender documents which we use to procure a contractor who will eventually construct the project. And then we run with the project by doing valuations, advising the cost to be paid at whatever stage until completion.
Okay.
On completion, we reconcile the accounts all along, taking care that we balance quality versus the cost that we incur in construction.
Okay.
So that is, in brief,
okay,
the role of a quant surveyor.
So do you feel like you've been left out when it comes to the affordable housing agenda that the government has been working towards achieving a housing or bridging the housing gap?
Yeah, well, it's a yes and no answer in that at commencement, I think government had moved very far, not considering the local players. But then after several engagement sessions, you can see government taking a step back now to try and pull everyone along. But still, there's a lot of work to be done on that area.
So what is your contribution towards the Big Four agenda now, or rather the affordable housing agenda?
So I think as quant surveyors, the current contribution is that already there are quant surveyors, for example, in the industry. But as a body of quant surveyors, and probably I want to also to explain a little bit about the body of quant surveying, is that we represent quant surveyors practicing in Kenya. And our role basically is to try and lobby government in terms of creation of legislation that is conducive to our practice. So that is our biggest role. And in this case, you'll find that that is the role that we are playing when it comes to the affordable housing. In that, without that lobbying, then probably sometimes government would move without considering the various players in the industry. So to me, that is the biggest role as an institute that we play.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to maybe taxes and housing levy,
yes,
and you, as you say, you've indicated you've been participating in the housing affordable housing agenda. What areas should the government look at when it comes to these policies as well as levies and taxes, especially in the construction industry?
I think government has a very big role, and it depends on how you look at it. In that you can either look at taxes in terms of creating revenue for government to be able to probably provide infrastructure what is providing. But when it comes to affordable housing, then you can't ignore the common mwananchi. So therefore, if you want to bring the affordable cost to the level of the local mwananchi, then, in my view, government must desist from the temptation to always target the common mwananchi as the source of revenue in terms of taxation. And this I have in mind, for example, the housing levy, for example. I know the issue is in court, but in my view, the mere fact that people are going to court to talk about it, it means that there is resistance from the general mwananchi. So whichever way that case would go, I would think it would be wise for government to drop it, because already it is giving the affordable housing a bad name, in that it is taking away resources that the common mwananchi would be using to buy the same houses. Okay. So the same thing with the employer. Again, it is targeting the same employer who is paying the same employee. So you find that there is a catch there, and in terms of supporting the affordability of the houses, then I think that is one area that government ought to look at it, whichever way it goes in court.
Okay. Yeah. I'm afraid that's all the time we could have for this discussion. It's a broad discussion, but we'll, of course, invite you again here in our studios, and we continue with that conversation. That is how we wrap up Inside Business for today. My name is Caroline Njenga, and see you in the evening for more business news.